Welcome to the Candlelit Library. Come grab a cup of whatever takes your fancy, dim your lights, and settle in to listen to The Tale of the Raven, written by Edgar Allan Poe in 1845. A perfect bedtime story for those of us that don't sleep. Once upon a midnight dreary, while I pondered, weak and weary, over many a quaint and curious volume of forgotten lore, while I nodded, nearly napping, suddenly there came a tapping, as of someone gently rapping at my chamber door. "'Tis some visitor," I muttered, tapping at my chamber door. "Only this, and nothing more." Distinctly I remember it was in the bleak December, and each separate dying ember wrought its ghost upon the floor. Eagerly I wished the morrow. Vainly I had sought to borrow from my books a cease of sorrow for the lost Lenore, for the rare and radiant maiden whom the angels named Lenore, nameless here for evermore. And the silken, sad, uncertain rustling of each purple curtain filled me with fantastic terrors never felt before, so that now, to still the beating of my heart, I stood repeating, "'Tis some visitor entreating entrance at my chamber door, some late visitor entreating entrance at my chamber door, that it is, and nothing more." Presently my soul grew stronger, hesitating, then no longer. "Sir," said I, "or madam, truly your forgiveness I implore, but the fact is I was napping, and so gently you came rapping, and so faintly you came tapping at my chamber door, that I scarce was sure I heard you." Here I opened wide the door. Darkness there, and nothing more. Deep into that darkness peering, long I stood there wondering, fearing, doubting, dreaming dreams no mortal ever dared to dream before. But the silence was unbroken, and the stillness gave no token, and the only word there spoken was the whispered word, "Lenore." "This," I whispered, and an echo murmured back the word, "Lenore, Lenore, Lenore." Merely this, and nothing more. Back into the chamber turning, all my soul within me burning. Soon again I heard a tapping, somewhat louder than before. "Surely," said I, "surely that is something at my window lattice. Let me see then what thereat is, and this mystery explore. Let my heart be still a moment, and this mystery explore. 'Tis the wind, and nothing more." Open here I flung the shutter, when with many a flirt and flutter, in there stepped a stately raven, of the saintly days of yore. Not the least obedience made he, not a minute stopped or stayed he, but with mien of lord or lady, perched above my chamber door, perched upon a bust of Pallas, just above my chamber door, perched and sat, and nothing more. Then this ebony bird beguiling my sad fancy into smiling, by the grave and stern decorum of the countenance it wore. "Though thy crest be shorn and shaved, thou," I said, "art sure no craven, ghastly grim and ancient raven, wandering from the nightly shore. Tell me why thy lordly name is on the night's Plutonian shore." Quoth the raven, "Nevermore." Much I marvelled this ungainly fowl to hear discourse so plainly, though its answer little meaning, little relevancy bore, for we cannot help agreeing that no living human being ever yet was blessed with seeing bird above his chamber door, bird or beast upon the sculpted bust above his chamber door, with such a name as Nevermore. But the raven sitting lowly on the placid bust spoke only that one word, as if his soul in the one word he did outpour. Nothing farther did he utter, not a feather than he fluttered. till I scarcely more than muttered, "Other friends have flown before. On the morrow he will leave me, as my hopes have flown before." Then the bird said, "Nevermore." Startled at stillness broken by replies so aptly spoken, "Doubtless," said I, "what it utters is its own stock and store, caught from some unhappy master whom unmercifully disaster followed fast and followed faster till his songs one burden bore, till the dirges of his hope that melancholy burden bore, of nevermore." But the raven still beguiling all my fancy into smiling, straight I wheeled a cushioned seat in front of bird, and bust and door. Then upon the velvet sinking, I betook myself to linking fancy unto fancy, thinking what the ominous bird of yore, what this grim, ungainly, ghastly, gaunt, and ominous bird of yore meant in croaking "Nevermore." This I sat engaged in guessing, but no syllable expressing. To the fowl whose fiery eyes now burn into my bosom's core, this and more I sat divining, with my head at ease reclining on the cushion's velvet lining that the lamplight gloated over, but whose velvet violet lining with the lamplight gloating over she shall press, nevermore. Then, methought, the air grew denser, perfumed from an unseen censer, swung by seraphim whose footfalls tinkled on the tufted floor. "Wretch," I cried, "that God hath lent thee, by these angels he hath sent thee, respite in thee pent for thy memories of Lenore. Quaff, oh quaff this unpent, and forget the lost Lenore. Quaff the raven nevermore." "Prophet," said I, "thing of evil, prophet still if bird or devil, whether tempter sent or whether tempest tossed thee here ashore, desolate yet all undaunted, on this desert land enchanted, on this home by horror haunted, tell me truly, I implore, if there is balm of Gilead, tell me, I implore." Quoth the raven nevermore. "Prophet," said I, "thing of evil, prophet still, if the bird or devil, by that heaven that bends above us, by the God we both adore, tell this soul with sorrows laden, if with indistant Aden it shall clasp sainted maiden who the angels named Lenore, clasp the rare and radiant maiden who the angels named Lenore." Quoth the raven nevermore. "Be that word out sign of parting, bird or fiend," I shrieked upstarting. "Get thee back into the tempest and the night's Plutonian shore. Leave no black plume as a token of that lie that soul hath spoken. Leave my loneliness unbroken, quit the bust above my door. Take thy beat from out of my heart, and take thy form from out of my door." And the raven, never fleeting, still is sitting, on the pallid bust of Pallas, just above my chamber door, and his eyes have all the seeming of a demon that's dreaming, and the lamplight over him streaming throws his shadow on the floor, and my soul from out that shadow there lies floating on the floor, shall be lifted nevermore. Thank you for listening, and we shall see you next time.